Okay, welcome back to my Let's Play of Final Fantasy XIV on the PC. The time has come to really sink our teeth into Heavensward, the first expansion of this game, from 50 to 60. But before we get into that, I have not recorded anything for this game in, let's see, 4 days? 4 days. 4 days. And, which is pretty wild because I was recording like 8 episodes a day before that. The reason, there's a couple reasons. One is that I roped about 4 of my friends into playing this. So I've been playing with them, you know, helping them out, telling them what to do, and doing some early dungeons with them and stuff like that. It's been a lot of fun. Can't wait for them to get to, you know, this point where we can do the big, hard dungeons and, you know, get up to level 80 together. That'll be cool. They all seem to like it, so it's a good game, and it's very easy to get into, so it's perfect for a wide range of people to give it a try. But anyways, the other reason is that I have been busy leveling up some other jobs. Now, rest assured that for the story stuff, for the Let's Play, I'm going to be continuing with Scholar and Summoner. Because I want to do like dungeons and raids first time as a healer. That's where I just feel comfortable. But also getting 2 jobs for the price of 1 with the main story. That's pretty good. I think that's pretty good. But I figured there's a lot of jobs in the game. I should give them all a try and see what I like best, you know? See what I enjoy a lot. You never know. Now, I haven't been leveling everything, but I've been poking around. So, let's see here. First, we have the Dark Knight. You knew I was getting the Dark Knight. So, we have the Dark Knight here. He looks more like a swashbuckler with a big sword, but Dark Knight, it's decent. You know, all the tanks are pretty similar. They all play pretty similarly. It's not exactly a thrilling role, you know. I mean, yeah, when you are tanking and you're tanking some big ass thing and you're like avoiding big attacks and you know, you're taking all this damage and you know, it's cool. But you don't push that many buttons, especially at this point. So basically, he's got a 1-2-3 combo. You know, it's at 3 attacks that combo into one another. It restores some MP, restores some HP. He's got an AoE, which you can spam to your heart's content, which looks pretty cool. If I can, yeah, there you go. That looks pretty cool, right? Then he has the darkness meter, the dark side meter. So right now, all I have is Flood of Darkness. So basically, this just shoots out in a line in front of you, does a bunch of damage, and then for 30 seconds, your damage is increased by 10%. So basically, you always want to have that up. And you want to use this ability and the other, you know, as much as you can, because it does a bunch of damage to a bunch of targets. And you can basically, it's not on the global cooldown, so you can spam it. The problem is it costs 3,000 MP, of which, you know, you only have 10,000. So to mitigate that, we have Blood Weapon, which restores MP for 10 seconds every minute. And part of your combo restores some MP, but still, you're not going to be spamming that too much. That's basically it for right now that I have. I've been tanking for my friends in dungeons. But, you know, doing like the first few dungeons as a tank is, well, doing the first few dungeons as anything is not very exciting. So we'll have to see once they get higher level and I'm tanking, you know, level 50, level 60 dungeons. We'll see if I really like it. I'm not knocking it. It's just it's hard to say at this point. Then we have Machinist. Now, this has been my main love. I got him up to 49 from level 30, so I've been playing a lot of Machinist. At first, this is one of the expansion jobs, so it starts at 30. At first, I sort of shrugged it off. I did, like, the first quest for it, and I was like, okay, it seems all right. Then I read a little bit more about it, and I was like, wow, this sounds really cool. And so then I put some time in, leveled it a bit, started unlocking a bit more, and I was like, this is cool. And I'm super excited to get even higher level. If it wasn't for Scholar Summoner, the combo wombo, I'd probably switch to Machinist. So they use a gun, and that just amuses the fuck out of me whenever you have a fantasy game with guns. It's like, why would I carry a sword or, use my fists when you could just shoot someone in the fucking face? It's great. And it's like an old school, like, flintlock pistol, but it's not, because you're like rapid firing this thing like an AK-47, so it's pretty funny. So the Machinist, they have like a 1-2-3 combo as well, which does a bunch of damage. They have a cone AoE, which is super good in the early dungeons. Like, it shreds entire groups very nicely. They have Hot Shot, which is just a big attack every 40 seconds. And I like it because it reminds me of the movie Dread at the start, where he, like, melts the guy's head by using hot shot ammo. If you've seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about. So I feel cool whenever I use that. But the main thing is that your gun builds up heat as you use, some of these abilities. Your heat gauge goes up. And once you hit 50 on the heat gauge, you can use Hypercharge. So this increases damage of single target weapon skills. It lasts for 8 seconds. But more importantly, it enables some other abilities, such as Heat Blast, which is a powerful shot on its own right. You can only use it when it's overheated. It's got a 1.5 second cooldown, so it's pretty fast to just keep shooting it. And it reduces the recast time of Gauss Round by 15 seconds. Gauss Round is an instant shot that's not on the global cooldown. Normally, it has a charge time of 30 seconds. But when you're spamming Heat Blast to reduce it by 15 seconds, you're basically just spamming Heat Blast and Gauss Round as much as humanly possible. And this process continues to evolve as you level and get more abilities. But you also get Wildfire, which is basically like this timer that you put on an enemy. And for every weapon skill that you use on that target for 10 seconds adds 150 potency to the damage after 10 seconds when it explodes. So you slap that on, you hypercharge your weapon, and then you're just spamming buttons as hard as you can for 10 seconds, and then it just fucking explodes for like 800 damage or more. It's very satisfying. And it just, they say, the thing that was like, oh, maybe I should give Machinist a better look, was like, somebody was like, Machinist has the highest APM job in the game, the highest actions per minute job. They push more buttons than anyone else. And I was like, yes, let me give that a try. And yeah, when you're in full swing and everything's just popping, it feels good. It feels very good. You also get a turret, which is on like a separate timer with their battery gauge. So far, it's not very exciting. Like, when it's available, I'll plop it out like on a boss fight, and it does some damage, but it's pretty much just you push a button and it does damage. That's it. But down the line, we get a lot of stuff related to like Edgar from Final Fantasy VI. Like, we get auto crossbow, we get drill, we get bioblaster, we get air anchor. So that's really cool. And eventually at level 80, you get to summon like an automaton to fight alongside you. And that sounds pretty sweet. So yeah, I'm liking Machinist a lot. Also, we have Samurai, which starts at 50. So you get a free level 50, you know, it's might as well. I got him to 51 mainly through doing Fates, just as I'm doing the Yokai Watch event. Pretty interesting. It's very overwhelming as soon as you get it, because they basically flood you at level 50 with like 30 abilities that all have like Japanese names, like Hakaze, Jinpu, Gecko, Shifu, Kasha, Yukikaze, Fuga, Mangetsu, Oka. You know, it's like, what? But it's really, once you get it, it's not very complicated whatsoever, and it does provide pretty good DPS. From what I understand, they're one of the top DPS in the game right now. I don't mind Samurai, but it doesn't involve like furious button mashing as much as just like a very regimented rotation that is not spammy whatsoever. So we'll see. Astrologian, that was another expansion one I mentioned. They start at 30. You'll see that this one's still at 30. It's tricky. They have the card system. You draw a card, and then it tells you who to put it on, whether that's tanks or healers or range DPS or whatever. And then you play it on those targets, and it boosts their damage or boosts their healing by a small percentage for like 10 seconds. That's basically it. Now, down the line, I think you can do a little bit more with the cards, but kind of like how all the tanks are pretty similar, all the healers are pretty similar. They all have the same basic move sets. You know, they have their small heal, they have their big heal, they have Asuna, they have their dot, they have their little, you know, regular damage spell they can cast over and over. There's little differences, but it's tough to motivate me to level Astrologian when the Scholar basically does the same thing. And that's also how I feel about the White Mage. Black Mage, though, is pretty cool. And I know we're spending a long time just talking about this, but hey, it's my Let's Play. So the Black Mage... Yes, I know, I'm shirtless wearing, like, leather pants, but... I'm sure I played a Thaumaturge when the game came out. I don't remember it working like this. So they must have changed something. But the Black Mage operates around ice, fire, and thunder. You know, basically bolt, fire, and blizzard. You know, the three main categories of spells. Thunder in this game is just like a damage over time. It does some cool things later on where ticks of the damage can proc Thundercloud, which allows you to use another thunder spell for free instantly that does all of the damage over time instantly. So that's pretty cool. But the main thing is the ice and fire. Fire is the damage one. It does more damage because... there's these effects called Astral Fire and Umbral Ice. When you cast a fire spell, you get Astral Fire as like a buff. And this boosts the damage of your fire spells. So the more fire you cast, the more damage you do. To a limit, obviously. It also, however, doubles the mana cost of the fire spells. So base fire spell costs 800 here, doubling that to 1600 for all the future ones. Which means that you cannot just spam fire spells. You will very quickly deplete your MP, especially because when you have Astral Fire, you have no MP regeneration. Nada. Zip. So you can only cast a few fire spells before you're basically out of mana. Which means you have to switch over to Umbral Ice with ice spells. Because when you have ice spells, you have Umbral Ice, your MP regeneration is greatly increased. So you regenerate MP super fast so that you can switch back to fire to continue blasting shit. And they also give you, very early on, level 4, they give you Transpose, which swaps one Astral Fire to Ice or Ice to Fire. So this is how you quickly switch between the two. So it's a very interesting thing where you just want to keep just burning and burning because the damage numbers are wonderful, but then you can't because of the MP system. And I remarked at how interesting the MP system was in this game, that you couldn't just stack, you know, the best gear and have unlimited MP, where you could just cast spells forever and never worry about it, which I don't know if that's still a problem with WoW, but for a while that was a problem with WoW. With 10,000, no matter what, it creates situations like this. They can create mechanics around that. So even the highest level black mages have to deal with this MP system. And they have the potential to be the highest damage output in the game if they run their rotations flawlessly and never fuck up, you know, their cast times and never fuck up, you know, swapping back and forth. And later on, they get this other mechanic where they want to be even more strict about how their rotations go so they can keep casting Fire 4 over and over. It's very interesting, and I really do like it. And I probably would have leveled it a lot more if I hadn't discovered Machinist, which involves just spamming a lot of buttons. But down the line, I could see switching to Black Mage for a while. Alright, anyways. Enough talking about jobs, just giving you a heads up of what I've been doing. Also, I didn't finish the Yokai Watch event, but I did a lot. First of all, I got every minion. I might have done that before, I don't remember. But more importantly, I ended up getting 13 out of the 17 weapons. And that unlocks Whisper a Go-Go, which basically looks the same as the other mount. It just glows and has like a glowing face, like a little different face. That's it. It's so similar. It's not worth it. I'm pretty close, obviously, to getting 17 weapons, all of them, which gives a completely different mount. But the problem is that the last 4 weapons require expansion fates. So Heaven's Word, Stormblood, and Shadowbringers. I don't know. I don't think I'm going to get to Shadowbringers content by the time this event is done. So I might never get that other mount, which bums me out, but I'm not going to bum rush the story just for that. Yeah, I think that's it. I'm second Storm Lieutenant in the Grand Company, which is the 3rd highest you can get. So that's good. And also, I've been working on some of the Beast Tribe stuff for Realm Reborn, which is really tedious. You just have to do daily quests, which I never enjoyed, but some of them have really cool mounts. Also, I started a free company, the Explorers, so I have the TES next to my name now. So if you're interested in playing, come on the Hyperion world, join the Explorers. We'll have a fun time. But other than that, I really have not I didn't do any raids or anything that, you know, I still have yet to do the Bahamut one, and I should. But let's continue the main story of Heaven's Word. Hopefully I remember what the story was. Though our friends in House Fortomp have been generous enough to extend us their protection, we must take care not to impose too much on their hospitality. It is only proper that we learn about our new home, so that we might become more self-sufficient. It'll take a while to learn the lay of the land, but learn it we must. Then there's the markets and taverns. We'll need to know where to shop and where to hear small talk. Would seem a tour of the city is indeed in order. I thank you for your counsel, my lord. My companions and I shall of course do as you suggest. Very good. Then my manservant shall accompany you. He will be able to answer any questions you might have. But I grow forgetful in my dotage. There is something I must give you ere we part. Their documentation is in order, I trust. Yes, my lord. These documents identify you as wards of House Forton. Given that our borders have remained closed for decades, many of my countrymen are unaccustomed to treating with foreigners. Should anyone happen to question your presence here, it may prove necessary to remind them that you remain under the protection of House Forton, but let us hope it shall not come to that. Rest assured that we shall do our utmost to avoid any situation which might compel us to invoke your name. Mangg, Tataru, the city awaits. Let's go! I will say, the Dark Knight does have really cool class quests. People were not lying about that. You're sort of like your mentor for Dark Knights is just like he's basically Ovum. Like he doesn't give a fuck like about any laws or anything like that. Like if he sees injustice, he just starts cutting, you know. It's great. As this is your first time in our fair city, pray permit me to show you to the Hoplon, from whence we may gaze upon the splendor of the Holy Vault. Though all other sights pale in comparison, 'tis only meet that you see it first. I shall then show you around the jeweled crozier, where you may purchase all manner of goods and services before descending to Foundation's Aetheryte Plaza, if there are no questions. You'll see I got my princely hatchling, which is much bigger than I thought it would be. That's the minion you get for 50 commendations. I did some, like, pug dungeons with Dark Knight. I got 3 commendations both times. That felt pretty good. The Hoplon, so named for the bronze great shield borne by our nation's patron deity, is the largest plaza in ISHGARD. The magnificent cathedral to the north is, of course, the Holy Vault. The vault is both ISHGARD's seat of government and the residence of the Archbishop of the Ishgardian Orthodox Church. Begging your pardon, the statues to the south, are they perchance Thornton's famed Knights 12? Very good, Master Alphino. They are the fathers of ISHGARD, the brave knights who joined with King Thornton I to put down Nidhogg and found this great nation. Ours is a city rich in history and tradition, and there is much you can learn by exploring the pillars, time permitting, of course. Now then, if you would follow me to the Jeweled Crozier, I shall introduce you to Mistress Elise, our master of the markets. I think from what I heard, like, once you start Heavensward, the gear you get far outstrips, like, the good raid gear from the base game, which is always how it goes with expansions. But that's why I didn't want to put too much time into raiding, collecting that gear just to instantly replace it. I'll raid when I'm decked out. Well, you're certainly not locals or traveling peddlers, which makes you all... Ah, wards of House Fortin. How very interesting. Count Edmund has granted us leave to remain in ISHGARD for as long as we wish, which may be some time. Accordingly, we will have need of sundry goods, hence our desire to make your acquaintance. That is, of course, assuming you are content to accept the custom of foreigners. Should you be uncomfortable... Young sir, we do not discriminate in matters of money. If you have coin to spend, who are we to refuse it? Weapons, armor, accoutrements, medicine, materials, whatever you desire can be found in the Crozier. Our merchants will be more than happy to accommodate you, as you shall soon see. Our next destination is the Aetheryte Plaza and Foundation, if everyone is ready. In Tatar. It's faster for me to just Ethernet back. Yeah. And here we have Foundation's Aetheryte Plaza. If you have yet to attune to the Aetheryte, it would be wise to do so now. Oh shit. This is all worthless to me. Well, technically, I could use this on my samurai. So I might as well. Oh yeah, we were gonna do class quests. God damn it. Keep forgetting. As for our next destination, mayhap we should decide together. What else can be found nearby? The Skysteel Manufactory stands to the west. There our engineers conceive and manufacture weapons for use against the dragons. The Holy Stables, where chocobos are trained for war, also lie in that direction. To the north and east can be found the congregation of our Knights Most Heavenly, while to the south and east, well, it would be best if you avoided that area. And why is that? I fear our knights may not be able to ensure your safety in the lowest levels, Master Alphino. Hold your nose when you pass the broom, little lord. Delicate flower like you is like to wilt in our fumes. You misjudge me, sir, for I am no lord, but a humble traveler. Oh, come to see the sights, have you? Take a turn down the hoplon and gawp at the statues? Well, if you've a mind to learn how the better half live, come and have a drink at the Forgotten Knight, if your nursemaid will let you. My humblest apologies, Master Alphino. Pray pay that drunken lout no mind. Oh, but I must. It would not do to refuse such a heartfelt invitation. Yes, I simply must see this Forgotten Knight for myself. I trust you see the wisdom in this, Mangg. There are few sources of information more abundant than a bustling local hostelry. Not that I expect to hear any news of our missing comrades just yet. Nevertheless, who can say what we might learn of recent events? Then I'm coming too. All right. A field trip to the bar. It's down, right? Yep. No, it's up. But is it up or is it up? Is it... Here it is. Got a night. I'll say, this is rather unusual. Not just one, but a whole party of fresh new faces in my tavern. We but recently arrived in ISHGARD and are eager to acquaint ourselves with their more notable establishments. Master Gribbelant. Just Gribbelant will do. And I'm flattered you think so highly of my establishment. Can't promise it'll live up to your expectations, but if it's decent food and drink you're after, you can do much worse. Judging by the number of customers I see, I suspect your fare is rather more than decent. Speaking of your clientele, I cannot help but note a difference between those who frequent the upper and lower floors. Spotted that, did you? Aye, up here you'll find peddlers, porters, off-duty knights, and so forth, dropping in on their way to or from somewhere else. Regulars, maybe, but not locals. Folks from the Broom, they tend to congregate downstairs, where we offer a menu more suited to their tastes. Cheaper meals, stronger spirits. All quality, mind, but not the sort of stuff I'd recommend to yourselves. You speak of the lowest levels, yes? Why do they call them the Broom, if I may ask? Because when the weather's foul and the broom rolls in thick, it's the poor sods living at the bottom who have to deal with it. I see. And it's not just the weather. When the wyverns broke through the wards and started tearing up the city, it was the Broom that got the worst of it, while the pillars enjoyed the protection of the high houses and the temple knights. More than a few people are still sore about that, mind, which is why, considering your present company, I'd recommend you keep your wits about you if you mean to go below. And something sharp in your boot, just to be sure. I shall take your words to heart, sir. Master Alphino, I think it would be best if we returned to Forton Manor. You go on ahead without me. I'm staying for a drink or two. Miss Tataru, I'm afraid that is out of the question. My lord the Count would never forgive me if I abandoned one of his charges in such a place, least of all a maiden. What are you up to, Tataru? Look around, Alphino. This tavern is full of people whose business regularly takes them beyond the gates of judgment. With friends like that, I could practically live here and wait for the newest gossip to come to me. Indeed, but will you be safe here on your own? Oh, please. You know how often I looked after the waking sands and the rising stones by myself? If I had a gill for every unwelcome caller I've driven away, I'd be rich beyond my wildest dreams. I'll be fine. Not that I doubt the lady's knack for fending off unwanted advances, but I'll be damned if I'm going to let anyone lay an unwelcome hand on a patron at my establishment. That settles it then. Tataru, Mangg and I shall return to the manor for now. Contact me by link pearl if you require assistance. I will. So he doesn't let an unwanted hand touch anyone, touch a patron, but he recommends you carry something sharp in your boot if you go downstairs. All right. We want to go to this, maybe? I probably should have checked. I was correct. Tell us then, Master Alphino, does ISHGARD meet with your expectations? That which I imagined pales in comparison to the reality. I felt the weight of 1,000 years of history with every step I took. And when those steps took me past the... When those steps took me past the scars left by the wyverns in Foundation, I understood how easily that history could end in tragedy. The attack was devastating. The casualties unspeakable. The wyverns did not discriminate. Unarmed men and women, even children, were given no quarter. Sir Emmerich has ordered his knights to strengthen our defenses, and each house has been called upon to lend what support it can. There is much to be done, yet, alas, able-bodied men and women are in short supply. Mayhap we could be of assistance, my lord. After all you have done for us, we would welcome any opportunity to repay your kindness. That is a most generous offer, Master Alphino. You are guests in my home, to whom I have extended my hospitality without obligation, let or lien. Nevertheless, ISHGARD's need is great, and if you are willing to aid our cause, I cannot well refuse. Good. What would you ask of us? From what I have heard, you are an intelligent and persuasive young man. Such qualities may prove most useful to us in our efforts to secure provisions from foreign sources, identifying trustworthy suppliers, brokering contracts, and so on. As for you, Master Mangg, I could ask for no one better than a storied veteran such as yourself, a man with the capacity to act swiftly and decisively when needed, to aid Artoriel. It's not Artoriel. It's Artoirel? Artoirel? That can't be right. How is this a name? I gotta Google this. I mean, I doubt there's like... I mean, maybe it's a real name. No, it's not a real name. The only references are fucking Final Fantasy. Oh, wait, hold on. There might be a pronunciation guide here. Artoirel. Artoirel. Okay. Good. To aid Artoirel and... and then I got to the second name. Eminelian. To aid Artoirel and Eminelaine in their duties. Jesus Christ. I beg your pardon. I am more than capable of carrying out my duty by myself. I have no need of our honored guest's assistance. Now, be reasonable, brother. What manner of fool would say no when a famous hero offered to do his work? Hold your tongues. By the Fury, the two of you will conduct yourselves with dignity befitting your station, and show Master Mangg the respect he deserves. Yek, damn right! This is the man who slew Gaius van Balzar and some half-dozen primals besides. He's not here to steal your glory or serve as your errand boy. Yeah! You can pardon them their impropriety, Master Mangg. I should be much obliged if you would lend my sons a helping hand. My thanks. Fury willing, they may even learn something from you. Ain't gonna be no one's errand boy. It would seem we shall not want for employment over the coming days, though that was never in doubt. Our host's initial reluctance to accept our offer of aid was solely for appearance's sake. In truth, he is glad of this opportunity to put us to work. By granting us patronage, House Fortholm has taken a tremendous risk. Until we demonstrate our worth to ISHGARD at large, the Count will face considerable opposition from his peers in matters great and small. and so he would have us publicly serve ISHGARD, while simultaneously keeping his sons in check. 'Tis an arrangement we may benefit from in unexpected ways. My own duties may feasibly bring me into contact with people who know something of our missing comrades. And as you go about helping our two lords with their various responsibilities, you will inevitably make new acquaintances in ISHGARD, mayhap even new allies. Yes, the more I think on it, the more confident I am that by furthering their goals, we shall further our own. Oh, we got a new hat! Let's see it. Oh my god. Is that what I am to you, Square Enix? Is that what I am? A fucking jester for your amusement? Alright, well, we turn it off. It's a good helm, but we turn it off. Okay, we have 2 quests, but I'm not gonna put it off any further. We are doing class quests. We can't be level 80 without having done the last, like, 30 class quests. So, let's start with Scholar. Marauder's Guild. I don't really have to show these to you, in all honesty. But you might be curious as to how the expansion class quests go. The Green Death. You have astonishing timing, Mangg. Would you believe that I meant to send for you this very bell? Cerrito Carrito has summoned us both by name. His missive was unclear as to why he needs us, but when a living scholar calls, we can scarce dismiss him. Just imagine the sort of things we might learn from him. The military tactics, the Nemean secrets. Come, my friend, let us make for the shores of Bronze Lake, where Cerrito Carrito and untold knowledge await. Oh! I don't actually know if this is an expansion one or the last Realm Reborn one. Cerrito Carrito. I don't remember what voice I did for this guy. Whatever. Thank you for coming. I hope the journey was not at all. Both Mangg and I are ready and willing to help. But pray tell, why have you summoned us? Allow me to start at the beginning. After Lily freed my heart, I returned to my people. For the first time in an age, I was myself. I brought all my knowledge to bear against the rancor and managed to save some of my comrades. Alas, many and more are yet consumed by hatred. Though our minds were our own, our forms remained monstrous, and we dared not venture outside. Yet within our halls, we were content with our own company and the quiet life. But it did not last. One by one, we began to grow ill again, and then grotesque. The sickness that transformed us into tonberries has returned. What? Are you certain? Beyond all doubt. 1,500 years past, powerful magics were used to seal us in the palace alongside the sickness. Yet even these could not withstand the calamity. As we arose from our long slumber, the sickness awoke with us. As a scholar, I must see my people restored in mind and body both, but finding a cure will take many moons, perhaps even years, and that is time they do not have. Yet I presume you will not stand idle while their condition worsens. This is why you summoned us, is it not? Just so. I plan to seal the worst afflicted within a section of the palace. There they will slumber once more. This itself is no cure, but it will afford me the time I so desperately need to find a permanent solution. Now, as for the seal itself, an enchantment of this nature is not unlike a net. It is anchored at several points, and if not laid down in perfect balance, the magics will falter. In order to accomplish this balance, my people created keystones to focus and disperse ether. It is these keystones that I have need of, but I dare not seek them out myself for fear of being hunted. Then we will gather them in your stead. It is we, is it not, Mangg? Nod. Thank you both. The original enchantment encircled this lake, and 2 of the keystones should be somewhere along the banks. If you search the shores, I've no doubt you will find them. Luckily, I got flying mounts. Search for outer keystones in outer Linasia. Okay. And they should be on the shore? But I don't have... Wow, I don't have... Oh, in outer Linasia. Okay. Teleporting would have been faster. Okay. Yep, teleporting would have definitely been faster. As you reach to pick up the keystone, you hear the crack and rumble of rock upon rock. The hair raised on the nape of your neck, you turn to see a guardian of Eld awaken. Oh. Well, let me get Celine out. We need her. Yep. Very exciting. Alright. Now let's teleport back. That'll do us. Has your search for keystones borne fruit? Here you go. Yes, there can be no mistaking these runes. I have it. Whew. That was a pitched battle, I'll tell you. The keystone was in the clutches of an Aragnite, and an ill-tempered one at that. That explains the distinctive odor, but the runes leave no doubt. Thank you, Alkazoka. It was the least I could do. I trust you can seal away the worst stricken of the Nemeans now. It is not that simple, I fear. The enchantment will fail without 3 keystones, 2 on the outside and another at the center. I lack this grand keystone and the knowledge to locate it. While I search, pray focus on your studies. I have a suspicion that what trials await will try you sorely as a scholar. Thanks for the 96k XP and the money. Oh, 52. Well, we are 53, so let's do it up. Quarantine. When we get Indomitability, which is an AoE heal that costs 1 ether flow. That's pretty good. I like that. We have divined the location of the Grand Keystone, my friend. It lies in the ruins to the east. The credit for the find truly lies with Alkazolka. His knowledge of Nim is impressive. It was not long into our discussion of the stone's whereabouts that we were able to piece together where it must be. As you can imagine, he could not contain his curiosity. Even now he is combing through the ruins. Please see that he comes to no harm. We often let guardians to watch our most precious assets. Left guardians I told Alkazoka this, but he firmly believes the enchantments have worn thin. I am less sure. Be careful when you take the Grand Keystone. The Grand Keystone. This is definitely an expansion one, so I think the last one was as well. Mangg, you have arrived in time. I believe our prize is just yonder, and I trust Sarito Corito mentioned the Guardians. I have my doubts they still guard our prize, but better safe than sorry. Should any awaken to our presence, we will reduce them to rubble. Level sync. Keep your wits about you, Mangg. Yep. A guardian. Well, we have dug up much of Nim's past. Mayhap it's time we put a piece of it to rest. Defeat it. Wow. Why is it so easy? Oh. Okay. Oh, okay. It's like that boss in the Sunken Temple. I guess I could heal Alkazolka. Here you go. Actually, let me just spam heal you. Why are you taking so much damage? Why am I taking so much damage? You're not even tanking. Look at this. So much damage. Look at this. I can't even heal. What the fuck? Alright. Just tough it out. That's a big ass AoE. Stop it! Oh, I'm supposed to destroy the soul crystal. We're gonna have to do it again. Just tough it out. Tough it out. Ruin mist? What the fuck? Oh my god, my damage is so pitiful. Alright, just finish it off. That took longer than I wanted. Haha, what a team we make. No foe can stand against Scholar and Marauder. The Grand Keystone is ours. Cerrito will no doubt be happy to get his hands on it. Yeah, I did. I did a dungeon with a friend, and I decided to heal it as Scholar. It was Hawk Manor, level 28, and I was eating nachos the entire time. Like, just, the fairy basically did everything, and whenever I had a free hand, I just hit ruin a few times. Ridiculous. So if you're looking to eat nachos while doing dungeons, I recommend Scholar. You are safe, thank the gods. And the Grand Keystone? Well done, you two. With this, I can cast a sealing enchantment over those of my people suffering most. I am full glad to hear it. Soon the worst afflicted will be at peace once more, safely segregated from the others. But this is only the first step. I will need to learn the cause of the sickness before seeing my people cured. You're not alone in this, Cerrito Carrito. We three shall see an end to this blight. Thank you, Alcazolka, Mangg. I am proud to have you both at my side. Mangg, it is time that you learned a new spell for giving succor to your comrades in arms. Indomitability. Once it was the sole province of high-ranking scholars. May it serve you well henceforth. Alrighty. That's cool. Indomitability. Put that here with all my ether flow shit. Alright, so next time we'll be doing some summoner stuff. This summoner stuff, which should be 2 quests as well, I believe. So we'll start with that next time. That won't take the whole video, and then we'll bounce back to Heaven's Word. My name is Mangg. Game watching has been Final Fantasy XIV. See you fine folks in the next part.